activated. 3, 2, 1.
Is this your homework, Larry?
Ask him about the car, man.
Is this yours, Larry? Is this your homework, Larry?
Is that your car out front?
Is this your homework, Larry?
We know it's his fucking homework. Where's the fucking money, you little brat?
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Johnny here. In today's episode, we are going to go over some boring ass Bitcoin price action. We'll dive into a little bit of Ethereum, and we'll really just talk about what we're doing over these next 5 to 10 days while we kind of wait for Bitcoin to decide what exactly it's going to do. So let's go ahead and start here on the daily chart. This is the Bitcoin daily chart. It seems to be holding support here pretty well. This is the 55 daily EMA. And then down here, we do have the 200 daily EMA, which is also right near the 21 weekly EMA. So we are potentially looking for a break to the downside here out of Bitcoin to come down near the 21 weekly EMA, right around $20,187. But there is also a very strong chance that it might not come down that far. So if we zoom in here, what I did is I took a trend line from the beginning of this parabolic move to the upside and then just found the midpoint or the heart line of the price action moving further to the upside, and this is what I came up with. And then I also drew a million parabolas from the breakout here, and I finally found one that I have been happy with, and this is it here. And if you look at this, you can tell that we broke this parabolic structure really just a few days ago on January 25th, and then you can see we broke this heart line here, this area of support. Also, just a couple of days later, really just yesterday on the 27th, it really officially broke through. But if you look here, this is a fib channel, and it's been respecting these levels pretty well for quite some time now. So what we are looking for is if Bitcoin does break across this diagonal support, which is a fib channel, we could see further significant continuation to the downside. Let's go ahead and check out the logarithmic growth curves here. So you can see we are inside one right now, and the bottom support here of this logarithmic growth curve is down here at the $23,000 level, and coincidentally there is a CME gap that is still open down around $24,000, $23,800, right around there. That's the bottom of the gap there. So this is really what we're looking at with Bitcoin. So we're really not trading. We're waiting for it to make a decision to let us know what is going on. But this lower trend line here is a very significant area to watch. We are looking to see if potentially price action breaks below. But I'm not really sure what we're really going to see out of Bitcoin here in the next few days. So we're just going to sit on the sidelines and we're going to watch. We're going to wait to see what kind of story we can put together as Bitcoin, as the price action plays out over the next couple of days. Let's go ahead and take a look. Let me see here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the DXY. So the DXY, when the DXY is bullish, it's typically indicative that Bitcoin is going to be bearish. So if you remember from previous videos, we talk about the inverse correlation of the DXY and Bitcoin. And generally, for every 1% move to the upside we see out of the dollar, we get about a 10 to 15% move to the downside out of Bitcoin. And conversely, every 1% move to the downside, we get about a 10 to 15% move to the upside out of Bitcoin and GBTC as well. So here, this is the DXY daily chart. It does appear to have been putting in an inverse head and shoulders, which is a bullish reversal pattern. So if price action does break across this neckline here, right about 90.8% on the index, we are looking for further bullish continuation, possibly breaking this upper trend line of this enormous falling wedge that it's been in since probably last March, right when we saw the huge pump out of the DXY because it gained a ton of strength when everyone was selling their stocks in a panic frenzy. So, and then ever since then, we've just been trending pretty strongly to the downside. Now here's what I'm concerned of. You see this diagonal purple, that is a GAN resistance. This is a 4-to-1 GAN. So, it's not very, very strong or weak. It's right somewhere in the middle, but it has shown significance over the duration of the DXY's price movement on this chart. And if we get a break across this neckline, chances are we will get a break across this Gann support or resistance, excuse me, too. And then it will also put us across this upper trend line of this descending or falling wedge, which could be very, very dangerous for Bitcoin, for really literally everything except for the dollar. It could be indicative of a massive sell-off or crash coming right around the corner. But if price action of the DXY moves up, gets rejected at this lower trend line, which also happens to line up with the 236 Fibonacci retracement, and then we will be looking at further continuation to the downside. But that's one thing to watch. Now, it may just be coming up here to give us a bearish confirmation and retest of this 200 daily EMA, which is all the way up here, about 93% on the index, and that's about a 2.6% move, letting us know we could be looking at a near 30-40% correction out of Bitcoin if this does play out. Now, if we do get the DXY to reject right here this upper trend line, because there is quite a bit of significant resistance here, and if the DXY breaks this falling wedge to the downside, we're looking at a conservative 6.8% move here, which would be incredible for gold, for Bitcoin, for silver, and really the stock market as well. So we're going to keep our eye on the DXY moving forward, especially over these next few days, to try to give us some insight into where Bitcoin is going. So with the DXY looking potentially bullish, it's a good idea to go ahead and take a look here at the S&P 500. So S&P 500 here on this daily time frame has been in this rising wedge for quite some time. We have this insane bearish divergence here. Price has just been going up and up and up, but the RSI has not been able to make a higher high ever since pre-crash levels here. So looking at the S&P 500, it is holding support fairly well inside of this lower trend line of this rising wedge. But if price action does break below, we could be looking at a pretty significant correction out of the S&P 500, looking at right around 26-27% of a correction there on the S&P 500. So if we take a look at the total crypto market cap is putting in a very similar price structure that Bitcoin is. This could be taken a few different ways. What I am looking at here is more or less a descending triangle. And again, this gives us, a similar, adds a bit of confluence to the bearish idea, especially for the S&P 500, and the bullish idea for the DXY. We could be looking at about a 24% correction out of the total crypto market cap, bringing the total cap all the way down under $680 billion, really for the first time since December 25th. So, we've been seeing a lot of bullishness out of the crypto market, and it's only a matter of time before we do get some sort of correction. Now, another thing that this could be is this could actually be a bull flag. So we could be looking at continuation here. Really only time will tell, but honestly, to my eyes right here, this really looks a lot more like a descending triangle really than anything. So the measured move, again, 24% to the downside, would not be good for Bitcoin and would not be good for Ethereum. Ethereum market cap dominance is still doing its thing, still pushing to the, well, it's moving sideways right now, but Ethereum has been gaining some significant ground on Bitcoin. Let's go ahead and take a look at the ETH BTC chart. So yeah, I mean, ETH BTC here on the daily, we broke this upper trend line, and then honestly, it broke this long time resistance here that goes all the way up here, which happens to be right in line with this upper trend line of this falling broadening wedge here, or the handle structure of this cup and handle, or the right shoulder of this inverse head and shoulders. Either way, it was very bullish looking, but we haven't even come close to meeting our measured move. But what we're looking at here is, a one-to-one extension up here, possibly a 618. The measured move here out of this cup and handle, or this inverse head and shoulders, or really whatever kind of bullish it is, really is just beyond the one-to-one extension here, about a 57% move from the break of the neckline, and it's about a 45% move from where current price action is right now with Ethereum, Bitcoin. But Ethereum is looking rather bearish as well, the same with Bitcoin. So we are looking for a potential retest confirmation of the neckline or the upper trend line of this falling broadening wedge. We'll really see how far it comes down here. But, you know, if we take a look at the Ethereum USD chart, this is, you know, in a very fairly bullish structure here, still fairly parabolic. I mean, extremely parabolic, to be honest with you. But, you know, we are consolidating here in this range and some similar price action or some similar price structure to Bitcoin, but not quite the same. Where did my chart drawings go? I think I might have got rid of those. No. Okay, so this was the idea that I posted in the trading group, actually about a week ago now. So we had this aggressive buy after we got this correction here, moving to the upside. I wasn't sure if we were going to get the continuation, so I thought it would be safe to place a buy down here. We got a wick down and it did get filled. We are thinking about taking profit though here, because if we do break this lower trend line of this rising wedge to the downside, that will take us right to the the 55 daily EMA, right at $971.70. But let's go ahead and bring up the VPVR here. So VPVR, if we do get a break to the downside and it does clear this 55 daily EMA, we could be looking at a really significant move to the downside. We could be looking at Ethereum coming all the way down to this high volume node just above 740 US dollars. So something to pay attention to there. I mean, I'm not too sure if we're going to get the break down that far, but it's very possible. The 21 weekly EMA for Ethereum is just hovering right around this high volume node down here. So, you know, worst or best case scenario, depending on how you look at it, we're looking at a just under $700 Ethereum. But what is likely here, you know, if we break down below this $1,127 level, we are likely coming down to the top of this high volume node, just above $740. Okay, so let's recap on Bitcoin here. Again, you know, we are in this potentially a descending triangle. So if we zoom in a bit, you can kind of get the same picture we saw with the total crypto market cap. Very much looks like a descending triangle. We got a third wave here, so we could be looking at a break to the downside here very soon. So the bulls will need to step in and prevent Bitcoin from falling below this diagonal support right here, this Fibonacci channel, which is, you know, right at $28,942. If we get a candle body close down below there, and we don't maintain support here at the $27,267 level, looking at a CME gap fill down here around 23.8, and a potential move to the lower part of this logarithmic growth curve, sitting right here at $22,932. All right, guys, that's all I got today. Thanks so much for dropping in, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.